So here we go. Fitting how we have a Golf Galaxy ad right here. USGA R&A to announce universal golf ball rollback next week. So this was announced a couple days ago by Mike Stachura from Golf Digest. Golf Digest is, of course, the leading source of golf information here in the United States, at least. I have a lot of thoughts on this. I'm going to try to keep this video short and concise here. I don't agree with this here. And after reading this article, I found out that, at first everybody thought that the R&A and USGA would do the golf ball rollback for essentially golf professionals, like tour level elite players, and not for the average golfer who plays high school golf or college golf or any amateur level events. But that is changed. So the USGA and R&A are expected to announce early next week that they will be changing the rules to roll back distance in golf, and not just for elite players. The expected decision likely would make nearly every popular golf ball played both professionally and recreationally non-conforming. The news comes from multiple industry sources with direct knowledge of the plans of golf's governing bodies speaking on background. So Brandel Chambly, if you don't know who he is, look him up. He had a really good quote here about it, saying that essentially it was the industry as a whole, the manufacturing companies that decided to really push this forward, along with the USGA and R&A, the governing bodies. But the manufacturers really made this final push for it. And golf course architects and so on and so on. But Brandel Chambly, of course, was against it, which actually for once I agree with him. But as a golf course owner myself, I think this is complete bullshit. And I tried to reach out to the USGA here over Instagram. They have not yet contacted me back. I am a member of the Golf Course Owners Association of Wisconsin, for which I just won a really cool award, the best 9-hole golf course for player development and teaching facilities. And I take that very personal as I coach golf. As an owner, this is my livelihood. I do this for my living. I try to put everything together to make $40,000 a year. And now when we have these stupid people who run these organizations that are out of touch with the average person, this is what we get. As you can see, I have a guest here, my cat. This is what we get. So here we go. In simple terms, if a golf ball is currently close to the overall distance standard, as a high majority of golf balls used in elite competition and popular in the marketplace, such as Callaway, which I am part of on staff with, then raising the speed by 5 miles an hour would make them fly 15 yards farther or well past the current distance limit. Golf balls would then have to be made to stay within that 317-yard standard. The decision by golf's ruling bodies comes after nearly 3 years of notice and comment with equipment manufacturers and other industry stakeholders over several proposals involving clubs, balls, and a distance rollback. While the USGA and R&A had originally proposed the change to 125 miles an hour in the spring of 2022 and announcing some preliminary areas of interest, they revised that swing upward of 127 miles an hour in an announcement in March. At that time, however, the proposal was only to change the rules for elite professional golfers, instituting what is known as the model local rule. So clearly, the idea of a permanent but separate set of rules for elite golfers didn't resonate with the industry, as not only manufacturers but the PGA Tour and PGA of America voiced their opposition to the proposed change. The message was clear, R&A CEO Martin Slumbers explained last week to Golf Digest. So, blah, 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 blah. Here's where it gets really interesting. That decision apparently will mean a period of bifurcated rules starting in 2028 when the elite professionals use a shorter golf ball than recreational golfers. But starting 2 years later, in 2030, all balls that conform to the rules of golf will apparently be 15 or more yards shorter at the elite level. The effect on distance for recreational players will likely be less, but could be proportional. So that if a tour player loses 5% or 15 yards on a 300-yard drive, then a recreational golfer player might lose that same 5% on a 225-yard drive, or roughly 11 yards. And the same golfer would likely lose a similar percentage on his or her approach shots. Explain that to a 60-year-old golfer who can only hit the ball 225 yards off the tee. Now you're losing in 11 yards. So now let's just say on a 350-yard hole, you are only hitting it instead of 225 off the tee to where you have 125 yards left. Now you have minus 11 off, or you add 11 to the 125. 136 yards? That could mean the difference between a 6-iron and hitting a 4 hybrid. So now if you're playing, and now you're playing a 400-yard hole, it's impossible. It's impossible for these people to play. And I think it's just bullshit. I think it's bullshit as a golf course owner, as somebody who deals with these manufacturing companies. This is not only a change for the USGA and R&A, which they don't give a shit about, but they're out there helping the golf manufacturers. So now what happens? What happens to this? First, we're losing growth on the game. Right now, we're seeing unprecedented growth that we haven't seen before. I experienced another 10% growth in the year of 2023. It has... I haven't seen growth like this. I've been playing golf forever. I'm 26. I've been managing or owning golf courses since I was 21. Every year has been about 10% growth to where I have been managing or owning. It has only gone up and gone up and gone up. It's crazy. So now what are we doing? All the kids who are 10 to 15 years younger than me who like to play the game because they can see how far they can hit the ball, and they can hit a driver, 16 years old and hit a driver 280 yards off the tee. Well, you're taking the fun away from them. You are taking the fun away from them. You are changing this to a lame person's game again. What it was 15, 20 years ago. A lame person's game. Now you are nullifying all the growth that we have seen since COVID, and you're making this a lame person's game again. Why? What's the point? Next, you're not growing the game. You're not growing the game to where people like me put so many hours into the week, 100 hours a week in season to grow the game, working with others, working on my golf course to make it a better experience for the players. Cutting down trees, making it easier for golf, making it easier for golfers to enjoy the game, helping them, giving them lessons, coaching. You're nullifying that. You're nullifying all the work I have done to grow your game, which has been around forever, R&A. But realize though, and I hope you hear this, realize this. You people in charge, the board members, the CEOs, they're not like us. They're not like normal people. They're not like normal golfers. They don't have a normal job. And to say I have a normal job, I don't, but I make normal people wage. These people are making a ton of money. They are CEOs of corporations, of businesses. They don't give a shit. They don't give one damn about us. So the people who are in charge of the USGA and R&A don't care about us, essentially. And that is the case. So, moving on, now this is a cash grab for equipment manufacturers like Titleist, TaylorMade, Callaway, Srixon, blah, 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 blah. The list goes on. So who does that affect? I can tell you right now, I am paying $37.50 per wholesale, my cost as a distributor, as a retailer, to sell you golf balls. That is my cost to get a box, a dozen of Chrome Sauce, $37.50. So now when I'm selling those for $15 to make a slight profit, that's not going to be enough, because now the research and development into golf balls, into equipment, that extra cost, those extra millions and millions and millions of dollars are going to be passed on to the consumer. And now me being the owner looks like the bad guy, because I have to raise my prices not only on equipment to make up for this. I have to raise it on golf. I have to raise it on cart fees. I have to raise it on food. I have to raise it on beverage. And now me as the owner looks like the bad guy. I own a golf course in a small town. I am very well known within my county. I don't want to look like the bad guy. I want to, if I could let everybody play for free, I would. But I need to make enough living for myself to live comfortably and save what I need to save. So now USGA and R&A is taking that away from me, because now we have more cost increases. Great. That's awesome. So I'm going to have to charge a customer more just to get the basic supplies I need as a golfer and the supplies I need as a business to sell to you as the retailer, to the retailee. It's a damn shame. It doesn't make any sense. Third, I've been golfing a long time. I'm a very good golfer. I golfed in college. I'm sorry. I'm just putting that out there. I'm not great, but I'm good enough. I'm a scratch golfer on my own golf course, as most golf course owners should be on a 9-hole course. So I like to go out and hit a 300-yard drive. It's fun to do. My golf course is pretty wet. I get a lot of carry. I don't get a lot of rollout. So when you actually be able to get to carry the ball 295 yards to get a 5-yard rollout, that's pretty damn fun to do. Now you're taking that away from me and my friends who like to go out and play. And yes, we do shoot good scores, but sometimes we like to go out and see if we can hit the ball the farthest. Now you're taking that away from us like, oh, whoop-de-doo, that's so fun. That's just so fun, USGA, just so fun. You're taking that away from us. But where you're really hurting everybody is the 60-year-olds who can only hit it 225 yards off the tee. You're taking that away from them. You're taking the enjoyment of hitting a long drive to them away. So you're not necessarily going to be turning them away, but you're going to make them golf less. You're going to make them probably not want to buy equipment as much. So there we go. Price increases again. Yeah, officials, of course, they declined to comment. So that's the story. I just don't get why. So now I'm thinking about this more as a superintendent as well. I do all my superintendent work on my golf course. So now there is one way to get away from this. We could stop watering as much. We can make it dry. We can make it less green so golfers have more rollout. We could try to do that, and you will see that on the PGA Tour at tour events or LIV events. They're going to dry the hell out of the fairways in order to get the ball to roll out more. So we're still seeing slightly same yardages, but now you're just changing so much, and now you're changing thinking as an owner and operator. You're changing how the owner, operator, or superintendent does their job. So now we are going to have to adapt even more towards the golf course maintenance side of it, the agronomy side of this ruling as well. So does that mean more cost? Yes, that means maybe some lower cutting conditions, more maintenance on equipment to keep up with the lower cut, different fertilizers, different chemicals, more growth regulators, stuff like that, if we really want to get down into the fine nitty-gritty. It's costing me money, USGA. It's going to cost me money. I am 26 years old. I've owned my golf course for going on 4 years. I'm in this for the long haul. I need to adapt. I realize that, but you're making this too hard. What is your reasoning behind this? Why? Why do you want to do this? I can see at the professional level, yes, fun, cool, okay. We can kind of get away with that. You know, you're not necessarily growing the game, but we can kind of get away with that at the amateur level. But to affect everyone, I just think in just fundraisers or in league events, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Why do you want to make these people feel shittier than they already are if they're going to go out and shoot a 50 or a 60, you know, as somebody who, if somebody shoots in the 45 and now they feel shitty, they go out and shoot a 60 or whatever. Part of that's because of distance. Why do you do that? I don't understand the reasoning. And if the golf architects are bitching about it, too bad. Too goddamn bad. Those people make a ton of money. You make a lot of money, golf course architects. I've dealt with you people before. You make a fucking ton of money. Oh well, deal with the land that you have. You are smart people. You need to figure it out. You are in the minority. That was also one of Brandel Chambly's comments as well. So, at the end of the day, this is a bullshit ruling. This is complete bullshit. As far as I go at my golf course, I'm going to try to keep the regular golf balls as long as I can. But it sucks because now I look like the bad guy because my prices have to continue to raise. Oh, I don't want to have to continue to raise prices anymore. I'm sick of this. I'm sick of this. USGA and R&A, you suck. You truly suck. All the strides we made in the last 10 years with equipment, with golf balls, with growing the game, you've wasted it. You've wasted it, you filthy sacks of shit. I hope the USGA and R&A hear this. Ridiculous. Terrible.